221. Kasava Jataka. If any man, etc. This story the master told while staying at Jetavana Monastery, about Devadatta. It was occasioned by something that happened at Rajgraha city. At one period the captain of the faith was living with 500 brethren at the bamboo grove. And Devadatta, with a body of men wicked like himself, lived at Gayasisa. At that time the citizens of Rajgraha city used to club together for the purpose of almsgiving. A trader, who had come there on business, brought a magnificent perfumed yellow robe, asking that he might become one of them, and give this garment as his contribution. The townspeople brought plenty of gifts. All that was contributed by those who had clubbed together consisted of ready money. There was this garment left. The crowd which had come together said, "Here is this beautiful perfumed robe left over. Who shall have it, elder monk Sariputra, or Devadatta?" Some were in favor of Sariputra. Others said, "Elder monk Sariputra will stay here a few days, and then go traveling at his own sweet will. But Devadatta always lives near our city. He is our refuge in good fortune or ill. Devadatta shall have it." They made a division, and those who voted for Devadatta were in the majority. So to Devadatta they gave it. He had it cut in strips, and sewn together, and colored like gold, and so he wore it upon him. At the same time, 30 brethren went from Shravasti city to salute the master. After greetings had been exchanged, they told him all this affair, adding, "And sir, Devadatta wears this sign of the saint, which suits him ill enough." "Brethren," said the master, "this is not the first time that Devadatta has put on the garb of a saint, a most unsuitable dress. He slid the same before." And then he told him an old world tale. Once upon a time, when Brahmadatta was king of Benares, the bodhisattva came into this world as an elephant in the Himalaya region. Lord of a herd that numbered 80,000 wild elephants, he lived in the forest land. A poor man that lived in Benares, seeing the workers of ivory in the ivory bazaar making bangles and all manner of ivory trinkets, he asked them would they buy an elephant's tusks, if he should get them. To which they answered, "Yes." So he took a weapon, and clothing himself in a yellow robe, he put on the guise of a Pacheka Buddha, with a covering band about his head. Taking his stand in the path of the elephants, he killed one of them with his weapon, and sold the tusks of it in Benares. And in this manner he made a living. After this he began always to kill the very last elephant in the bodhisattva's troop. Day by day the elephants grew fewer and fewer. Then they went and asked the bodhisattva how it was that their numbers diminished. He perceived the reason. "Some man," thought he, "stands in the place where the elephants go, having made himself like a Pacheka Buddha in appearance. Now can it be he that kills the elephants? I will find him out." So one day he sent the others on before him and he followed after. The man saw the bodhisattva, and made a rush at him with his weapon. The bodhisattva turned and stood. "I will beat him to the earth, and kill him," thought he, and stretched out his trunk, when he saw the yellow robes which the man wore. "I should pay respect to those sacred robes," said he. So coming back his trunk, he cried, "O man! Is not that dress, the flag of sainthood, unsuitable to you? Why do you wear it?" And he repeated these lines. "If any man, yet full of sin, should dare to don the yellow robe, in whom no care for temperance is found, or love of truth, he is not worthy such a robe to wear. He who has speed out sin, who everywhere is firm in virtue, and whose highest care is to control his passions, and be true, he well deserves the yellow robe to wear." With these words, the bodhisattva rebuked the man, and told him to never come there again, else he should die for it. Thus he drove him away. After this discourse was ended, the master identified the birth. Devadatta was the man who killed the elephants, and the head of the herd was I. JATAKA number 222. Kula Nandiya Jataka. I call to mind, etc. This story the master told while living in the bamboo grove, about Devadatta. One day the brethren fell in talking in the hall of truth. Friend, that man Devadatta is harsh, cruel, and tyrannical, full of harmful desires against the Supreme Buddha. He threw a stone, he even used the aid of Nalagiri. Pity and compassion there is none in him for the Tathagata. The master came in, and asked what they were talking about as they sat there. They told him. Then he said, "This is not the first time, brethren, that Devadatta has been harsh, cruel, merciless. He was so before." And he told him an old world tale. Once upon a time, when Brahmadatta was king of Benares, the bodhisattva became a monkey named Nandiya, or Jolly, and lived in the Himalaya region. And his youngest brother had the name of Jollikin. They too headed a band of 80,000 monkeys, and they had a blind mother in their home to care for. They left their mother in her lair in the bushes, and went amongst the trees to find sweet wild fruit of all kinds, which they sent back home to her. The messengers did not deliver it. And, suffering with hunger, she became nothing but skin and bone. Said the bodhisattva to her, "Mother, we send you plenty of sweet fruits. Then what makes you so thin?" "My son, I never get it." The bodhisattva thought, "While I look after my herd, my mother will perish. I will leave the herd, and look after my mother alone." So calling his brother, "Brother," said he, "do you tend the herd, and I will care for our mother." "No, brother," replied he, "what care I for ruling a herd? I too will care for only our mother." So the two of them were of one mind, and leaving the herd, they brought their mother down out of Himalaya, and took up their dwelling in a banyan tree of the borderland, where they took care of her. Now a certain Brahmin, who lived at Taxila, had received his education from a famous teacher, and afterward he took leave of him, saying that he would depart. This teacher had the power of divining from the signs on a man's body. And thus he perceived that his pupil was harsh, cruel, and violent. "My son," said he, "you are harsh, and cruel, and violent. Such persons do not prosper at all seasons alike. They come to serious suffering and serious destruction. Be not harsh, nor do what you will afterwards repent." With this advice, he let him go. The youth took leave of his teacher, and went his way to Benares. There he married and settled down. And not being able to earn a livelihood by any other of his arts, he determined to live by his bow. So he set to work as a huntsman, and left Benares to earn his living. Living in a border village, he would move in the woods with bow and arrow case, and lived by sale of the flesh of all manner of beasts which he killed. One day, as he was returning homewards after having caught nothing at all in the forest, he observed a banyan tree standing on the verge of an open glade. "Perhaps," thought he, "there may be something here." And he turned his face towards the banyan tree. Now the two brothers had just fed their mother with fruits, and were sitting behind her in the tree, when they saw the man coming. "Even if he sees our mother," said they, "what will he do?" And they hid amongst the branches. Then this cruel man, as he came up to the tree and saw the mother monkey weak with age, and blind, thought to himself, "Why should I return empty-handed? I will shoot this she-monkey first," and lifted up his bow to shoot her. This the bodhisattva saw, and said to his brother, "Jollikin, my dear, this man wants to shoot our mother. I will save her life. When I am dead, do you take care of her." So saying, down he came out of the tree, and called out, "O man, don't shoot my mother. She is blind, and weak for age. I will save her life. Don't kill her, but kill me instead." And when the other had promised, he sat down in a place within distance of a bow's shot. The hunter pitilessly shot the bodhisattva. When he dropped, the man prepared his bow to shoot the mother monkey. Jollikin saw this, and thought to himself, "The hunter wants to shoot my mother. Even if she only lives a day, she will have received the gift of life. I will give my life for hers. Accordingly, down he came from the tree, and said, "O man, don't shoot my mother. I give my life for hers. Shoot me, take both us brothers, and spare our mother's life." The hunter consented, and Jollikin squatted down within distance of a bow's shot. The hunter shot this one too, and killed him. "It will do for my children at home," thought he, and he shot the mother too. Hung them all three on his carrying pole, and set his face homewards. At that moment a thunderbolt fell upon the house of this wicked man, and burnt up his wife and 2 children with the house. Nothing was left but the roof and the bamboo uprights. A man met him at the entering in of the village, and told him of it. Sorrow for his wife and children overcame him. Down on the spot he dropped his pole with the game, and his bow, threw off his garments, and naked he went homewards, wailing with hands outstretched. Then the bamboo uprights broke, and fell upon his head, and crushed it. The earth yawned, flame rose from hell. As he was being swallowed up in the earth, he thought upon his master's warning. Then this was the teaching that the Brahman Parasarya gave me. And morning he uttered these stanzas. I call to mind my teacher's words. So this was what he meant. Be careful, you should nothing do of which you might repent. Whatever a man does, the same he in himself will find. The good man, good. And evil he that evil has designed. And so our deeds are all like seeds, and bring on fruit in kind. Mourning thus, he went down into the earth, and came to life in the depths of hell. When the master had ended this discourse, by which he showed how in other days, as then, Devadatta had been harsh, cruel, and merciless, he identified the birth in these words. In those days Devadatta was the hunter, Sariputra was the famous teacher, Ananda was Jollikin, the noble lady Gautami. Foster mother of Buddha, sister of deceased birth mother Mahamaya, queen of Kapilavastu and now a nun, was the mother, and I was the monkey Jolly.